Today we're going to start the staff lessons and we're going into section 2 and we'll be learning 4 new moves that comprise one movement, but since each of the moves is different, we're going to take one at a time. But first we're going to review section 1, the beginning section, and some of the important things you need to remember. One of the characteristics of Kuo Lien Ying's staff form is the sliding of the staff so that the long end is out. So you always want the long end out, and you want about 4 inches on the end of your shoulder. So each time that you slide the staff, you have to come back so that this hand, the grabbing hand, becomes this pivot hand on the strike. So you slide back to about 1.5 foot, strike. Slide back to about 1.5 foot, strike. So throughout the form, you're constantly sliding the staff. And one of those requirements in sliding the staff is knowing when you have to slide the staff, because not every movement is going to be to necessarily the opposite side or dictated by the function or whatever. So knowing where you have to like slide the staff so the long end is out before each movement is a critical part. And so in this review of lesson 1, the beginning section, we're going to address that. So on the opening, when you do the flip, you're going to want to flip up to about 1.5 foot for that presentation so that you're on the long end here. So right here. So from here, you want to flip up. From here, you want to do the slide before you begin to do the stepping, so that you can remember to do the slide, because if you do the stepping and you forget to do the slide in the middle, the timing is going to be way off. So I'm advising if you're beginning staff to do the slide first to here, remember the 1.5 foot from the end, and then go ahead and do your step. Then from this side, slide to about the 1.5 foot, and then do your step. Now on this next move on the block, since you want the long end of the stick in the center, you don't have to slide at all. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning, that you have to know what the next move dictates to where the stick should be, the staff should be, in order to know whether you need to slide or not. So in this case, since I'm right here and I want the long end in, I can just go up into the crane position here. As I walk around, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this overhead strike, I want the long end out, and again, this hand is about 1.5 foot, so it's going to be in the right position for the overhead strike. But on this next one, I'm going to have to slide back to that 1.5 foot, take the step, strike. Again, on this one, slide, strike. And when I step to the left, I want to slide first and do the strike. So, and that's how I'm recommending that if you're a beginner, do the slide before you do the movement so that you remember to do that slide so the staff is going to be correct. One of the errors that beginners will make is that they're trying to remember the movement, but they'll forget the slide, and so they're just kind of staying in the center of the staff without any sliding at all. And also, there's a tendency to manipulate the staff with just the arms without any body motion. So the power for the staff comes from the waist. Imagine that you had like a ball and chain, and the chain is whipping that ball around. The same thing with the staff. It's the waist turning that creates the power for the staff. So the staff needs to be very light and loose, kind of like dancing with the staff. So again, let's review the first section and then we'll go into the lesson today. From here, flip up, be sure slide, 1, 2, slide, okay, slide, 1, 2, strike. Overhead, you don't have to slide at all. Just go up, walk, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, end up on the right foot. Make sure that you're ending up on the outside of the arm, not the armpit. Okay, from here we want to slide, strike, slide, strike, come in, slide, strike. So this will be the beginning of section 2. This position here. So section 2, the beginning movement, will comprise of 4 new movements. There's 4 separate moves that we'll learn to make kind of one series of movements, which will be kind of the first move. So since each of these is a new movement, we're going to go through it pretty slow. We'll start from that last position that we ended in beginning section 1, which will be this position here. This first move will be a block to the right leg as you step forward. And you want the staff about 2 inches off the ground, so it's covering the whole length of your leg here. Again, from here, the step goes into kind of a toe position. And as you do that, you're going to again have to slide the staff, because if I just didn't slide at all, I would be too high. So I'm going to need to slide the staff. And this is not all the way to the 1.5 foot, because then I'll be striking the ground. So I have to judge how far I need to get the staff to about 1 inch to 2 inches off the ground. So from here, I'm going to stop the staff, control the distance of the staff, again by coming against the top of your shoulder, the deltoid. Again, from here, it'll look like this. I want to block to the outside of the leg. I don't want to block to the center, because I wouldn't be guarding the leg. So from here, it goes right to the right of the leg. So again, from this position here, you notice I'm controlling that distance by where it stops on the arm and where this arm is as well. So this arm has to come over all the way to this right for the staff to be vertical, like that. Okay, again, from left leg forward, kind of even stance, block down. The next move number 2, will be a low sweep. And again, now I want to slide the staff up to about that 1.5 foot and rotate the staff horizontally along the ground, trying to sweep somebody off their feet to here. So now I'm in a kind of a bow stance, or a horse stance. So again, from here, so we're taking each move individually, but then at the end, when you kind of learn each of the moves, then there'll be a whole flow to it. So from this position, ending of beginning section 1, block down, low sweep from here. One more time. End of section 1, low block. Remember to be to the right of the leg. Low sweep. One more time. Here, slide, block, slide, low sweep. Hold it for a minute. Sorry, I had an interruption while I was doing my taping. It was kind of a phone emergency. So start again from the end of section 1, the low block, and then the low sweep. From here, the third move is going to be just pull back. And when you pull back, kind of a diagonal, like that. And what this movement is for, you did a sweep to the opponent's leg, he's coming over with a staff, and you're coming behind the staff and deflecting, kind of like a sweeping block, like that. So it comes from across here, a diagonal back. And again on this one, from the low block, the low sweep, from here you don't have to slide at all, because you want to cover as much of this upper area as possible. You're going to be on the short end of the staff here, long end of the staff right back here. So again, 3 moves. First move, low block, low block, low sweep, and then high deflecting block. One more time. Got to slide to get the right distance for the low block, and then slide for the low sweep, and then just pull back diagonally. Looks like this from the front. Low block, slide, and then slide, low sweep, and turn your whole body back straight this way for the deflect, for the power for the deflect. The staff only ends up about a 45 degree, and it ends up again against the shoulder, just like in the low block. So from this position here, you're using the shoulder to stop the staff to the right degree. And so see this hand position angle? When you see me come back for the deflecting block back, it's going to look exactly the same, except height lower down. So the low sweep, you swing the staff along the ground horizontally about 8 inches off the ground. And then again, when you pull back, you see how I'm facing with my chest this way. And then the next one is an overhead strike as I step into a horse stance, like that. And the deflecting block, here, this low arm here, comes to pivot point, and I'm pushing down with this arm for the power of the strike. Deflecting block, strike. Deflecting block, strike. Deflecting block, overhead, strike. Deflecting block, overhead, strike. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning again one more time. Okay, the low block, the low sweep, deflecting block, and then vertical strike. I'll do it this way, facing the camera. Here, remember to slide, low block, horizontal sweep, deflecting pullback block, and an overhead strike. Okay. I'll do it facing this way. Deflecting block, low block, low sweep, pull back, deflecting block, and then horizontal, overhead, strike. So that'd be the 4 moves. And then we're going to go into the flow. Although the staff form is comprised of separate moves, uh, the movements are linked together in certain series. So there's a certain flow to it. And just going back to the beginning section, I'll show you the linking of the moves, the flow. So on the very beginning, the opening is 1 move. And then the next 2 movements are 1 in a series. So from here, they're done together. Then the block, and then the stepping. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right into the overhead strike. Then the next 3 horizontal strikes with the steps are done as 3 in a row series. 1, 2, 3. So that's the flow of the first section. I'll do it a little bit faster so you can kind of see. Okay, the flip and the series of movements here. Overhead block, walk, get right into the strike. 1, 2, 3. So in the next section, the next 4 moves that we learn, even though we're learning it 1 move at a time, the flow is going to look like this. So again, from here, the block right into the sweep, pull back, and then the power into the overhead. So taking it all together, it's going to look like this. The flip, okay, the first 2. Overhead block, walk in the circle, overhead strike. 1, 2, 3, low block. I gave you a little preview of the next 2 moves so you can see that where it's going. Normally in a workout environment where you have other students who are more advanced doing the staff, you'd always be able to look and see the next moves to get an idea of where you're going. Of course, in the classical tradition, you're not supposed to copy those moves that you see until your sifu tells you that you can move on to the next move. Training in this virtual reality world, it's easy to kind of cheat and look at that and do those next 2 moves, but honesty prevent you from trying those 2 moves just so you know where you're going. So, okay, that's the lesson for today.